elderly in his stature. He's up to about where your face is. You know that inside of his building there is a stand that he can actually roll forward to climb up to this area. Now he stares at your eyes. What do you know about the tome?
A fair amount. I don't know what you know about the tome.
Well, that's not what I rolled.
One DD.
Let's say that I happen to know something about a thing that could save your friend. Would you tell me a bit more about the tome?
If you tell me what you're willing...
He shuts it immediately, slams it shut. You hear multiple knobs start turning, and then you hear this metal thing start to slide back as the door just turns, and you're like, it opens. Come on, come on.
I step in.
I'll follow along.
He doesn't actually realize that you're there, and he starts to shut the door on you when it hits you. Do you also come in?
Yeah. I mean, once it kind of bangs into me, I'll kind of wedge Alakast between the door and stop. And that was a little rude.
I'm going to turn and say, he's with me.
Oh, my fucking nose.
You can wait outside, though, if you'd prefer it.
He kind of puts both hands up and he pulls the door the rest of the way open. My door did that to your face? What are you?
Adopted.
This, I can assure, is true. Yes. A face only a mother could love. God, come in.
Thank you. And there's a third of us, assuming Rahk came along.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just
he starts to shut the door, and when you say it, he's like, opens again, and he sees it, and he's like, fingers. Yes. Come back. Come on, hurry.
Your rat's around?
Of course, this is Starbrow's home. What do you mean, is my rat around?
Is he going to bite me this time?
Are you going to thrust your finger into his mouth?
I don't intend to.
Then he similarly does not intend to.
Glad to hear that.
No, it's like no one here has heard of a personal bubble.
who puts their fingers in a rat's mouth?
Do you actually say that next to him?
Yeah.
I have a series of questions I would like to ask you. Mainly, I would like to know what your father is and what your mother is, because I would ask them why they put their anything or allowed their anything to go into something else. I don't understand it. You appear to be a mistake of creation.
And we deal with the questions for me first.
Oh.
Once things are settled between us, I can leave these two here for your questioning.
It's a passing interest at best. But yes, tell me more about the tome. And I'll tell you what I know.
What is it you're interested in knowing?
Everything. I wish to know everything. Knowledge is power. And I've survived only as long as I have, because I happen to know things. And Star Brown, he tells me things as well.
I know they deal in magical oddities, but more often than not, their leader, Sasha, who seems to be of some significant power, doesn't always prefer to trade in gold. She claims.
Topical, non-interesting drivel. I want the juicy details. Where does she store the dragon?
She doesn't own a dragon.
Yeah, Jacob
brow
just
furrows.
Look at Rahk and look
He
at
immediately
Thelsa.
looks to you. Then you answer. Where does she store the dragon? I saw it with my eyes. I know a dragon went back to that place. The night of the attack. Don't play stupid. You look it, but you can't play it.
I'm gonna look back at him when he's looking at Jacob. I'm gonna say, she is the dragon.
He slow blinks, just places his hand on the rail, and he lets it sink in. That checks out. That makes more sense.
I'm surprised you didn't draw to that conclusion with her lack of desire for gold. She's
I
got
knew that
troves
she had
of it somewhere.
spells. Wizards and sorcerers, they could cast things, and they have favors and various baubles and things, trinkets, and well, you know, when you are capable as a spellcaster, maybe you can garner these secrets and trinkets and favors. I wasn't aware as if it was maybe she had turned herself into a dragon, but I did see her, and she was not but a scratch.
I don't know for certain whether she was originally a dragon or a human. A dragon that takes a human's shape or a human that takes a dragon's shape. That I have never uncovered, but I don't really feel right asking without drawing a significant amount of attention to myself.
10 lights in the Underdark, that's hot.
Well, let's be quite honest. If she wants to go ahead and keep what she is in the dark, I'm not exactly willing to go ahead and inquire if she's a dragon that prefers to be a human or a human that has the potential of turning into a dragon.
I understand how some dragons may function. This is not my first dragon encounter. I just didn't know if she had a pet of some sort. I'm not well aware. I'm significantly older than you are. Clearly, what are you? 20? How do demons age? You're a devil. Are you a demon or a devil? Are you evil?
Not particularly. And
Does Thelsa know anything about the tiefling race? I doubt it. I'm just gonna shrug and nod.
Perchance. I mean, it's likely that you may have encountered them, but just assume that, generally, like tieflings, unless they are incredibly proud, they hide these features.
Yeah, because Asimars age at the same rate as humans and
Yes.
live just slightly longer, so I don't know about tieflings. I would have assumed it was the same, but it's not.
well, I mean, keep in mind, I also, at the very beginning, Ulhime was trying to go ahead and help Jacob get used to what he was, where he'd always walk around with a hood up. And after turning into what he has, he was actually wearing a mask to disguise it. So, no, he'll kind of look at Keegan and shrug. No, I'm not evil. Not to my knowledge. As for, age.
He sounds sad about that, doesn't he? He seems... Look at him, he's downtrodden. Are you upset that you're not evil? Does
He's not evil. He just makes really poor decisions. So judging whether he's evil or not is taxing on his brain.
That's part of being living. Everything that we do is a mistake to someone. We stamp and trot over the dead and create more of them in our path. So everything that you do, in some sense of the matter, is evil. But it doesn't matter. I don't frankly care if you're evil. I only care if you've come to kill me, in which case I will eradicate you.
No, I have not come to kill you.
You somehow
No.
managed to put on an even dumber face.
No, I'm not evil. And no, I'm not 22. I'm 2.
So just gonna slowly look over at Jacob like,
2 what? 100? 1,000?
Just 2.
2 Of what unit?
Weeks? Years? Months?
2 years.
2 years on this plane. That's fine. You've adapted well. I mean, I would wear more clothing if I were you, but who am I to say anything?
No, 2 years old, period.
Wait, what?
I'm 2. Clip. 1, 2.
Well, that's... I didn't know... I almost feel bad. I didn't mean to pick on you. I'm
It's
sorry.
news to me as well.
I can assure you, in his 2 years, he is well deserved of the picking on.
Accurate.
They've only known me a month.
He may be just a child, but...
Wait, are you a child? Is this some kind of cunning ruse?
I figure it has something to do with my parentage.
You are quite vernacular for a 2-year-old. Well done. Well done. Very good. I must say I'm impressed how you have not found yourself smote inside of the cauldron in this time is impressive. I commend you. I would pat you on the back, but you're too damn tall. So I will instead pat your thigh. Now let's get down to Brazen Blades. You said you needed to know about restorative magic.
Yes, or some item or salve or something that can help his organs regrow.
His organs. That's the inside bits. Yes.
Yes. Yes, the things that help you live.
Which bits?
Stomach primarily, and lower intestine.
The
squishy bits.
Yes. Restorative. Well, you did tell me about the dragon. I suppose he kind of ponders for a moment. Listen, I do not have access to this magic. I don't know anyone short of Dragon Keeper at the Dome. You could try your luck there. There are people in other towns, very, very far away.
She's just going to stop for a second and realize.
That might
continue.
Also happen to assist in knowledge, per se. But Cauldron has been in a bit of an odd spot, if you couldn't tell. It has been for a while. He purses his lips for a moment, and then he draws his fingers, just to split his mustache. I have an idea. It's most assuredly not going to work. But if it does, it will make for good stories.
Sounds like my kind of plan.
I'm gonna look over at Starbrow and then look back to Gelv.
Starbrow just kind of waves with a small mechanical arm.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You throw a peace sign.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Do you? Go on, pray tell. The clairvoyant, if you will, see into my mind.
I know what you're capable with. And it's not magic. It's more finer. I think you're planning on doing to our friend what you did to Starbrow. Just with the entrails and less with the limbs. That's where I had gone with it.
Perception is a strong point of yours. You're good at picking up what I'm putting down. What do you think there, Fingers? What's your thought? What was your name? Rockshop Smocker.
Yep, that's it. You nailed it.
That's why I called you
First
Fingers.
try. You can call me Rahk.
Oh, you did say that. I will always remember you as Fingers, but I will work on this, I promise. And you hear him, like, in his mind, he's, Rahk. Yes, your thought. What do you think of this?
Frankly, anything to keep the boy alive. I mean, he is but a shell of his one self now.
What makes him so special?
Jacob's in love with him.
The fuck?
There
Won't
is
admit it.
Devils do weird things anyway, that's fine.
There's nothing that makes him special any more than any other boy. And that's exactly why we would need to save him.
That's not quite true. The reason we want to save him is because he is selfless in the defense of this city. The wounds he's taken were in saving lives. He deserves every opportunity to live. Though I have to ask.
Go on.
Though I have to ask, if you're thinking about just swapping out his internals with servos and gears and all other manner of machination, why not do all the rest?
Well, that would take quite a bit of time. And if he is dying, as you said, how much time does he have? And is it borrowed time?
He is living on borrowed time.
It's certainly borrowed, but I can't imagine that one takes significantly longer than the other.
You mean simply replacing a singular piece will take the same time as replacing the entire apparatus? I understand that being two means you're naive, uninformed, that you suffer a lack of intellect. This is fine. I can explain it. Like this. It will take longer to make the big thing than the little thing.
Are we certain that we need him?
Absolutely.
100%.
We're positive?
100%.
Yes.
Figured that's what that meant.
We can't make a bargain with the dragon.
You can
Welcome
try.
to try.
I'm not going to. I still owe her breakfast and a hug.
I need some more information first. I have some parts that might still be functional. I will need to tend to them immediately. I will need to additionally be properly compensated, and I do not accept money. I have more than enough of it. And in my age, money never mattered to begin with. Favors are more important. There's something that I like about that. And you, Rahk, Fingers, I think that you would be quite deft in handling things that are, and he looks to Jakob, much larger, and then he points to himself, than me.
You would be correct in that assumption, and you have my favor if you will do this.
The things that I need to know is, how long is this time borrowed?
Perhaps the night?
The night. That's, it kind of like rifles through his beard. That is tight. That is tight.
I can stay with you and aid if I can be of any service. I mean, I know Starbrow was an exemplary aid, but if I can be of any service and make this at least a little bit quicker, I will spend as long as you need me for.
Can you even tell me what the basic of tools are?
Not really, no. But if you point at something across the room while you're working on something and it's going to take Starbrow too long to run all the way around, then...
Starbrow,
or if it's heavier.
He seems to have taken some notice to this as Keegan begins this older sort of like waddle up to behind his desk. And you see Starbrow kind of like perch on the edge, and he's doing like that cat thing where they're kind of leaning, prepared to like leap. And you notice that strung above, near the rafters, are bits of rope. These like tawdry bits of leather seem to hang and stuff like that. And as you can see that Keegan is beginning to mount the sitting station behind the desk, which actually requires him to kind of like climb up and sit. It's like a high chair of sorts, but it leans and it sort of encompasses his body. He harnesses himself in, and he kind of hovers over the top of this thing. And you see him draw down this helmet, this elaborate piece, and he grabs for a tool and he says, "Starbrow, get me a 6/17 gear turner." And you see Starbrow just take this mad leap, which for you guys is like 4 feet. But for this rat with mechanical limbs, he just leaps through the air, and you see him kind of lash out and snatch this leather, and as his body swings, he pitfalls over to the rope and slides down, spinning, tail first, to the desk. And he immediately ushers himself over to Keegan, and his tail captures a wrench. Doesn't even look at it. Immediately knows exactly what it is. And he asks next, "Get me a small tuning fork. I must assess the metals." And he seems to like run over, picks it up, and sort of waddles back with it. And then he pulls up the lenses and looks at you. "Can you tell me what any of this is?"
I know of tuning forks. I know one is meant for turning in something.
No,
I know very little, but
You would be at most incredibly distracting. If I can be candid, I find you incredibly beautiful, and I do not want to continue watching you. In my age, I could die. I would much rather you bring the piece over and leave it. And then whence I call, and I will send with you a stone of sending to tell you that I finished. And you can bring the boy. I would recommend that you usher with intense veracity.
I don't know that bringing the boy here would be plausible.
This is my workstation. You either bring him here, or he does not get the parts.
I can get him here quickly.
Good.
I can get him here instantly.
This is ideal. You must figure out a way to keep him from passing. I will need some time, but I believe that I can make this work.
How long is some time?
I'll have it to you before the night's end.
Understood.
And we'll say that a favor owed. He looks at all three of you. You must all agree.
A favor owed from the group or from one of us in particular?
Yes and yes.
Understood.
I'll never ask more than I believe you're capable of. If that were the case, I would simply ask someone else. I like to hedge my bets, and I leverage them in the favor of the winning party. There's a reason that I've lived to my age. Now, if you will, Maiden, what is your name again? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Thelsa, it's all right.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I need something to help me remember this. And he his eyes train on Rahk. There's got it. Fingers and thumbs. Your fingers, your thumbs, and you are still ugly.
I've been called worse.
This is fine. It's all a matter of perception, anyway. Now,
can I at least be Pinky?
But your name, there's alliteration. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know, but thumbs are like the worst fingers. I realize they're the most useful, but they're the ugliest.
Speak for yourself. I'm quite happy with my thumbs.
Yours are deft, but like, look at this one. Look at the ugly one.
Hey, at least you have thumbs.
Are those claws? You have 4 arms! I didn't even notice them, they're so small. Where's my glasses? Stop around, my glasses! And the fucking rat seems to go around the desk, grabbing onto something, and he picks it up. His eyes focus like full-on Coke bottle glasses, and he focuses in. Oh. Pulls them down. You have 4 arms. And I can see significantly clearer.
Now you wish you hadn't.
I wish I had not. Go.
We know.
I will work. I must disassemble some things. See to me soon. Oh, one
Sending
moment.
stone.
He seems to rifle through the desk before he pulls open like the third or fourth drawer, and he's got these small rocks. They look like skipping stones. They have a rune that's been carved into them. He finds a matching pair. He passes one to you. These
I'll
are
take it in my hand.
a little hard to come by, and don't lose it for reasons. Bear in mind, after a single use, they are done, and you can't say more than a few sentences at best. So, we will keep it fit, if you will.
Understood.
Very well. Find your leave. Go. No, go. Time is of the
towards
essence.
the door.
He hops down. Starbrow starts helping him undo straps and stuff, and he slides out. And you're what? Is he really not dying? Are you go?
I walked in first, so I figure I'm furthest from the door, and the other two are just between me and the door. So I'm just waiting for them to move.
Okay, all right. Inevitably, he sort of like ushers you out. He tries to be as polite as he can, but he's crotchety and he's focused. So he sees to that you guys leave. He's not super pleasant about many things, but
nope.
Locks up several times, and you hear like immediately once the door's closed, he lets out this like bizarre like cackle or scream. And then you can hear a variety of things happening, like some gears turning. It sounds like a machine shop in there. Things just start happening very rapidly. Luckily, there are no windows on the lower level. You can't see anything. He's very private about his life.
I want to, once everything's closed, turn back and look at the building with detect magic. Yeah, figure there's not much magical in there, and it won't range far through walls, but curiosity is getting
there's
me.
magic. There is definitely magic on the walls of this place. It is protected. It's protected in multiple languages, and it is specifically set out to target someone. This is not a no bad guys can enter kind of situation.
It's this one bad guy will never enter.
Correct. It's a named figure. You can't make out the name. Looks more like a symbol. And I'll get the symbol for you later. It's nothing that you've seen.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna remember the symbol.
Okay. I'm going to grab a water real quick, and then I'm going to pass this story back to Red and to Xander. So when I return, which will be about a minute at best, we'll have that. So I'm not going to go anywhere, or I'm not going to put this on BRB, but I'll be back in just a second. You guys can talk about yourselves.
Why, oh why do I get the feeling that the named entity is probably real familiar to me?
It's probably someone that you have some kind of familiar relation to on some level.
I've never heard of it, and I know Nabby.
That's true.
But you don't know the name.
Nab the Tauren would never know about me. By the way, if Cort hadn't one day been like, oh yeah, we're just chilling with him, and our friend Thelsa. And then he's like, Thelsa? Never heard of her. That happened once.
Oh, kind of like how...
When we went to the Demon Star, though?
Yeah. No.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
he didn't
like
know.
How...
He didn't know it was me that went to the Demon Scar. He had no idea. He cut his ties with the Demon Scar.
Oh, yeah. And then there was the time that Cort outed Jakob to Jared.
Yes,
Skellering. Oh, yeah. His father's Nab the Tauren. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least he's honest.
I figured you'd be happy. You just figured out who your dad was. You know, now's a great time to face it.
I just wish I looked a little more like my mother, whoever that was.
Well, we knew who your mother
was. She was a lovely lady who died.
None of you would know this.
I mean, Horam did.
And let's... Yeah, Horam did. It's not like he went ahead and said anything about it.
Well, people knew about the child. Then everyone died.
No, only Thelsa knows about the child.
Thelsa doesn't know about the child. Oh, she does, actually. Yeah, the whole flashback moment.
Yeah, Thelsa knows about the child because she raised him.
She...
Wait,
He
Thelsa
was
did.
kept in the church.
Jenya knows about the child.
Jenya, not Thelsa.
Oh no! Yeah, Jenya.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't raise anybody.
I was like, wait a minute.
That's some big brain shit. That
No!
I
Yeah,
I
I'm a little
raised my
lost
own
there.
family, but you're definitely not mine.
I
I killed them all, and I would have to kill
Yeah,
you.
You would not be making it to the sequel, my friend. She was efficient. Maybe a little sloppy, but efficient.
Like, wait, you're in my. He looks back at his list. Oh fuck, I missed someone.
How did
Shit.
How did I miss the tiefling? Jesus, what a fucking screw up.
I killed one of my family members 3 times. A spell, a curtain rod, and a fall from a 2-story window.
Truth.
Mark a trifecta.
What was funny is if you had just waited a week, she was gonna die anyway. I had already planned on it. Because your sister, even as young as she was kind of a jerk. She was pampered, and
they were all of my siblings were very well pampered except for me.
the boy that she was being forced to room with. Just gonna push her out that fucking window.
That boy.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
oops, she fell.
onto a curtain rod. Who knew? Yeah, but that's something to go ahead and talk about Jenya some other time.
Yeah, this is not the time.
No.
Yeah. By the way, I think you might be my stepmom.
I think more like foster mom.
It's getting weirder by the
Stepmom
second.
implies there were relations with your father, and I don't want that.
Okay, I think we're at the stage where we allow Ronald and Red to have some interaction here. Let's give you guys a moment to speak. The floor is yours.
Waiting for everyone to leave the room to go to the Keegans. When they leave, I would let go of Ronald's shirt, or Ulhime's, I should say. Ulhime. I talked to Helm.
What? What are you talking about?
He pulled me aside and I could. Ronald.
Ronald, I'm not sure what you've done
I'm
either, but your mic, you sound a little like you sound very tin canny. Talk now.
My bad.
That's much better.
Yeah, I just realized I had it sitting all the way up top. I was like, wait, I just realized no one could fucking probably hear me. But yeah, as he's saying that, I would kind of interrupt him, going, I think you just might have a fever, lad. No one's been in the room.
Ulhime, I saw Jimothy. He's not. Helm said we're not meant to be there.
Give me 1 second. Someone's at the door. It's like 5 seconds.
My
Just gonna run and boot the door down and then run back.
Yeah. His eyes kind of train on you for a moment, as he's more or less trying to determine what it is that you're saying.
Literally, some old lady fucking just came up. She's like, my grandson here? I was like, no.
Like, no, and then you Sparta kicked her off the balcony.
That's front porch.
Little did you know it was
This is your grandma.
I don't know a Korean lady in my family.
wow. Yeah, that was not a mix-in I would have seen.
You should have been like, Grandma?
After all these
Stephen and I have been waiting so long for you.
Well, you've chosen death.
Then you just gotta face Desker as soon as she walks in, of course.
But yeah, Ulhime says that, and then you said you saw Jimothy, and Ulhime kind of take a kind of glance back.
We're not supposed to be there, Ulhime. Humans aren't meant to be there.
Beware. You're talking about Helm's domain?
Whatever it was, Helm said that it was changing him, and he doesn't even have a voice anymore, Ulhime. This really hurts.
Easy, lad, easy. Did he tell you how we can help him?
You need more guardians. He can't be there alone. Helm said it took years for him to find those people. He said you need to hurry up and choose.
Choose what, lad?
I don't know. I told him that if I can't make it through this, I'll take his spot. But even I don't know how long I can last there. I'm still human.
If anything, I'm trying to make sure that there's a Helm there to fight with him. I'm not trying to get someone to replace Jimothy. He wasn't even supposed to be there. I don't want you ending up in that same situation. I'm trying to save him. If there's a way I can get to him, if there's a way I can help him. Did he say how? He said I have to choose. Choose what?
I think you need to appoint more people there. Without someone defending that, you'll lose all your power. And he said something bad would happen.
Is there any way I can take his place? That I can go in his stead?
Bert's just gonna kind of think for a second.
Helm's meowing at me.
Yeah, cat. I think Cort's just gonna kind of sit there and try and deal with the pain because he doesn't. I don't think Helm told him an answer to a question like that on if he could replace him. Just knowing that Helm would actually come and replace Ulhime if he ain't doing great. But that was the last premonition, not this one. I'm a little too loopy on the dying thing to remember that far back.
It seems like he's missing some details, but he's saying enough that it sort of rings true to what you previously thought. Maybe Helm actually did speak with him. Maybe he's just reiterating some of the shit that you've already said. But deciphering it is entirely up to you.
Do
you think he's telling the truth? Do you think he's lying?
No, I wouldn't think he's lying. There would be no reason for him to do that. If anything, I would if there's like a shelving or anything like above Cort, I would place the bag up there and I would try to see if I can commune with Helm. I haven't done that in a while to reach out to him, but if they're still saying that he's alive and he's talking with them, I'm gonna see if I can somehow commune with him.
Okay, I need to know how you're intending to do that.
Honestly, I'd probably try channel I don't know if it makes sense, but essentially shutting on and off my bolstering aura, almost like a beacon. And I would start praying to Helm to see if he's out there to give me a sign that he's actually around, that I need to talk to him.
Okay. So, Cort, as you sort of weave in and out of this pseudo-consciousness, you see Ulhime step away. And as he steps away, he places the bag off to the side, and you see this iridescence sort of pace out from him. It starts to haze in and out, like it's a flashing floodlight, alerting something. You can't tell if he's trying to hone in on something or if he's trying a new spell. You've never seen him do anything like this. I need from you a concentration check.
Ronald or me?
Ronald.
Okay.
How long do you intend on doing this?
47 minutes.
Honestly, until I would say probably give it 15, 20 minutes,
Sure.
just consistently releasing the same wave back and forth of bolstering energy, trying to pray to him to see if there's any way I can get a lock on him or anything like that, or if it would draw him to me in some way.
Okay. Sure. You do this for 15 or 20 or so minutes, and nobody arrives. Jenya comes back, and you see that she started to mouth something, like she was like, eh, and she stops and just sort of backs out and shuts the door, seeing that you are going through something. She doesn't want to interrupt. She knows how important it is to solidify magic. Don't ever interrupt a spell. It can be disastrous. Towns have been leveled in high-level magic play like that. So she leaves it be. She doesn't even entirely know what you are, but she's letting you finish your thing. And nothing. Nothing. There's no response. There's no call. There's no knock. There's no vision. There's nothing. Cort seems to weave in and out of it. Every time you always hear this, like, and then he starts muttering out words. Some of it's coherent. Some of it is not.
After letting out the last few pulses, Ulhime will kind of just go drop to his knees next to Cort. Please, I need some answers. I need to know what's happening. If I can get to where you're at, if I can get to Jimothy, if what he's saying is true, then I will take his place if it's possible.
I could only go there because I was dying. And Helm said it's because I was in between worlds.
Maybe if I try to shatter myself then. I can... No, because even then I was still tethered to this place, but...
So do you just wait? Do you mull this over, trying to think of ways that you can reach out? If Helm wanted to talk to you, he would.
Looking at Cort, after saying that he was able to kind of go to him because he was weaving in and out, Ulhime will look to Cort. Cort, maybe you can help me then. I can try becoming a beacon for him again. If you can call out to him, maybe he can hear you.
Cort in pain is just gonna go, help!
He calls out.
Help!
Scream. Jenya cracks the door and she looks. She has no idea what to do. She looks to you as if you might need help.
Before he grabs Cort's arm, he kind of just puts his hand up and kind of just motions her away, like it's all right, like don't worry about it. And then he grabs his hand and then he starts trying to channel his bolstering aura, and he'll channel positive energy into Cort as well.
Okay.
To channel a healing energy.
Then she continues to leave you alone. She quietly tucks the door back closed. You channel. You bleed yourself ever drier, closer and closer to the edge. Parts more of your face begins to fracture. You see crippled and ports venting on the arm itself of Nidrama. Your body appears fragile. Your hair is breaking in several places. The orb of your left eye has shattered, and it seems to be leaking a golden iridescence, like a haze or a cloud of glowing smoke. Outside, the camera pans. The three of you, as you walk back, do you have any conversation? Do you speak of anything before you return and arrive?
How about that sports ball?
I wouldn't start conversations, so unless someone else had mentioned something to me, then I wouldn't say anything.
Pretty much the same for Jakob. You know, he's got more than enough on his mind as is. and it's not like they're necessarily known for close interpersonal relationships.
Rahk's got some questions for Jakob.
Okay.
Jakob, tell me, do you believe Cort's value and, I suppose, worth of being saved, do you think that's derived from him wanting to save the city, to take positive action, or is him being human not enough? Or human may be the wrong word. A sentient living being.
No, it's okay. You can just say human. It's not like it's a dirty word or anything.
But you see, we're not all human here.
In fact, he's the only human in our party.
I'm pretty sure you're human too, Thelsa.
We're both half human, sweetheart.
I'm not sure if I'm even half human, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well,
no,
at least a little bit.
Suffice it to say, I view everybody as human. You know, we're all fairly equals here, but do I believe that we should go as far as we have for everybody? No, that's just unfeasible. Do I believe that Cort, through his actions, deserves more? Certainly. He's a good investment in the future. You know, it's not like I've, take Marion, for instance. I don't see anybody pushing for us to go ahead and find that man a mechanical arm or something like that. Or, some people just deserve more through their actions.
But given the resources, would it not be just? Would it not be in the interest of those same actions to save as many as possible and to improve the lives of those around us?
Well, if it's a question on whether or not whatever Keegan can do would better benefit the whole of the city as opposed to just one boy, well, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But in this particular case, the one is the only one particularly in danger. As far as the rest, we've already got plans to investigate. I suppose I'm a little confused as to what necessarily you're asking.
Elsa's gaze would kind of just veil from you guys as she keeps walking towards the apothecary. She just kind of phases out.
I don't suppose I'm asking anything in particular. It's just that when Keegan asked why we're going to all this effort, your answer didn't sit right with me.
When people make extraordinary actions and do extraordinary deeds, I believe extraordinary measures should be taken to preserve people of that caliber. Yourself, for instance. You're selfless. You're heedless of your own mortality. And, you took bravely to the field when Cauldron was under an attack. You saved many lives, hundreds of lives, perhaps more. If you were in a similar situation, I believe that it is our debt to you to do everything we can to preserve your life and preserve what you bring.
I suppose it hurts to think of this world as just a series of trading favors, but I suppose you're also correct.
Can I get,
It's
while you're talking, the three of you, can I get a will save?
You bastard.
Might re-roll that.
Might be for the best. Are we gonna have an encounter with Silver Boy?
You'll find out.
Damn, I've never met him yet.
Can I get from Jakob and from Thelsa perception checks? Rahk, you can also make this, but yours is going to be significantly higher. Let's get that perception. There we go. Okay, everybody notices this. Rahk, you're a little slower in the uptake, but you pick it up. Thelsa, Jakob, as you're talking, you notice that your words, they don't particularly hang on the moment, but when they come out of your mouth, your speech seems sort of dulled. Almost as if something has kind of numbed your lips or your tongue. And something particularly about the way that Rahk speaks, he actually stutters. And this catches you both off guard because Rahk has been very clean and clear. He speaks with precise dialect. Diction is strong with this particular character. But he stutters. And you two notice that you stumbled into something. Rahk, you can see it on their faces. And you simultaneously know that something has changed. You take a moment to perceive, to look around, and then you feel it. You feel almost as if you're walking through sheets of haze, through a fog, but it doesn't hinder your vision. It clouds your mind. What do the three of you do?
I'm gonna put on my detect magic and try and look around for whatever the source of this weird thickness is.
You've been walking now for probably 5 or so minutes. You know that Keegan's, the locksmith, is not that far. And you've been keeping relatively quiet, making decent pace. And as your eyes pale over into the spectrum to see what is affecting the environment, that extreme radiance that burned your eyes still lingers. But now you see it sort of paints the horizon. And it's flooding away from a familiar building. The Wee Apothecary. The Wee Apothecary is leaking this golden radiance. It's emanating like a miasma. You've not witnessed anything like this before, but it's sort of like if something releases spores, where it's very dense at its centermost mast, and then it starts to bleed out to affect the environment. This is similar to what's happening.
I'm not gonna start running. I'm gonna keep my same pace, but I'm not gonna turn it off yet until it becomes painful. I'm just gonna try and, I don't know, determine what this could be. If it's similar enough to Ulhime's magic, I'll figure it's something he's doing that I've never seen.
Okay. Jakob, you notice that your staff is reacting. It's brief flits. Think like cinders and cherries popping off of like a bonfire. The various words that are scrivened over your scythe seem to have these wild flits of ember and cherry that seem to just kind of emerge over the words and then flash away quickly.
Throwing on my own detect magic, am I seeing it as reactions from these pulses that are coming from the Wee Apothecary, or am I seeing something else surrounding us?
You are sensing the same thing the moment that you cast Detect Magic. Now, Thelsa, you can tell, is not experiencing this. Or she is experiencing this, but she's not saying anything.
Squinting against the flare of magical brightness, he'll just kind of glance to Thelsa. Ulhime?
I think so. There's some sort of pulse coming from the apothecary. It seems to be similar to the kind of blinding light I had when I looked at him earlier. But I've never seen anything like this before. It's like an aura. But it keeps deactivating and reactivating.
And it seems to be affecting time.
I don't know if it's time. It's just making it difficult.
Well, whatever he's pulsing off, it's definitely warping whatever's, warping the material.
Rahk, while you're listening to these things, a familiar figure appears from around a building, walking in the destination of the wee apothecary. And Mr. Charlie Miles strides with confidence, his chest very stern. This is not the same Charlie that you're aware of seeing, this portly and roundish figure that carries himself with charisma. He moves stoically like a chess piece or a war leader. A Terminator, if you will. He moves in the destination of the wee apothecary.
Watching this sort of changed man approaching our destination, I assume the rest of the Thelsa and Jakob don't necessarily notice him.
They're pretty much having a discussion between themselves about this, plus you can tell with the way that their eyes are colored that they're spectating this in a different spectrum.
Right. I'll interrupt both of them and point out Charlie. Does he seem off to you two?
Pointing at him, I'm going to look over at him and see if he's
Fortitude save.
magical, I figured. And
same
once I
here.
had finally caught him in my eyes, I would turn it off, but I know what's going to happen.
Oh man, if there was ever a time to have a fortitude save. If there was ever a time to have a better fortitude save.
Yeah, I can see it now. He's like, hey, what's that? Jacob just swings his eyes over. Ah,
Permanent
fuck!
blindness.
Ah! Good God!
Thelsa,
And his eyes like half bake.
Thelsa, you peering at this is an even more intense version. You're 2 feet away from a 12-foot bonfire, and you have not removed your eyes from the centermost hottest point. You feel your eyes grilling in your skull. And you avert your gaze. You're going to take, for the next probably day in-game, you're going to take a -6 penalty to any perception checks.
Okay.
Sniper, on the other hand, Jacob, cups his eyes. He screams out, Jacob, you're blinded for 24 hours. This can be fixed. Magic can fix this.
I can make it permanent, though, if you'd like. All it takes is a spoon. It doesn't even have to be magic.
Good God, man.
She's a wicked little shit.
He drops, not necessarily down to the ground, but he pulls his hands up over his face, his elbows touch his knees, and he's kind of like grunting through the pain. Thelsa, you know exactly what's happened.
Yeah, I almost did it twice within the past 20 minutes. Yeah, once I notice this, I'll turn off my detect magic and I'll just...
Do either of you help him at all?
Yeah, I'd go over and I'd go under his arm because I figure he'd go down to at least one knee and help him up and keep walking. But we need to see this.
Yeah, and getting up, he'll try and blink his eyes a little bit, but they're, magically hazed over. So he'll just end up leaning on the shaft of Alakast.
Sure.
And-
You're using like a walking support.
Yeah, and just set a claw on Thelsa's shoulder. Well, that's Helm, all right.
Yeah. Similar, very similar to when I looked at Ulhime, except much stronger.
Oh, okay. So what's the plan?
We keep going.
Okay.
I guess whatever Ulhime is doing in there is trying to channel or call to Helm, and he's answering.
That works.
How are your eyes?
Oh, well, hopefully they'll get better.
A voice.
Can't see.
A voice catches you from about 20 feet behind. It's loud enough that you guys can hear it, but not loud enough to attract the Charlie Miles. You recognize the voice. He says, "Oh, cheer up, boy. It will be fine. You'll bounce back in no time." You glance back. It's a man in his probably early 40s. Long black hair, gaunt, about 6'2", 6'3". Mal Skellering.
Never met him. I'm gonna turn around and just kind of look at him like, do I know you?
I'm sure you do, but that's
I'm
not
pretty
that
sure
important.
That's my dad.
Hey, that's my
Oh.
boy.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting yet.
Loose term there.
Excuse you. I'm incredibly pleasing.
Leave that up to me.
Ooh, and ooh. I don't want to think about that at the moment. As for you, we will have words another time.
Right, well,
Right now,
I didn't come here for you. I felt something more. Something familiar. Who would have guessed? There's an angel in town. I'd met him before. I didn't quite realize what it was until now. And I get it. I get it. So which one was it? Which angel lost their wings? Who clipped the feathers?
Barking up the wrong tree here.
not like I'd necessarily tell you anyway.
Well, in due time, I suppose. In due time. But that's what's called me. And while it might not seem that strong to you, it is a beacon in a field of darkness. And I can assure you, and he looks to you, Thelsa, that everyone in the Demon Scar knows about it.
I have no ties with that place anymore.
Sure you don't. You have nothing to worry about. It's not as if it's stained your shoes or anything. I can smell it on you. All three of you, actually.
Well, we were recently there. That's likely the cause, but
Well, whatever you've seen in recent time, it sees too.
I figure the Vavakia is very large.
He's nothing.
To you.
You know, you don't mince words. I can appreciate that about you. So
Well,
why
I
don't we
suppose
see
in a-
what he's calling for?
That was my plan. I just gotta make sure I don't try and see on the magic spectrum again, because every time I accidentally let him catch my eye, it almost blinds me like it did your son. Hope it's not by blood. You're much more handsome than he is.
Well,
Thelsa's just gonna smile.
this is but temporary. You should see me in all my grandest glory. I am
Maybe one
impressive.
day. Maybe one day.
Well,
Oh my god, will you stop trying to sleep with my dad?
Trust me, there would be no sleeping.
this is the company that you keep, and you have failed to introduce me to them.
I thought she had better standards.
Look
I
at the
thought she
company
was a
she
child.
keeps.
I'm a sycophant. Come on. Although, it might be weird if anything were to progress between us, because I'm not calling this thing my child. Step or not.
I don't care what you call it.
Ugly. Also just gonna smile knowing they look the same.
Well,
Yeah,
Shall
at
we?
this point, he's going to kind of like grope out for Rahk instead. He was
Okay,
holding on to
Rahk.
Thelsa. Now he's just going to like put a claw on Rahk's shoulder.
I'm gonna fireman's carry Jacob towards the wee apothecary.
Sounds good. Sounds good. You shoulder him immediately. You drop his body over your shoulder and you start moving.
What the fuck?
We're going.
I am gonna take a few steps towards Nabby Mal and offer a hand. Since it's customary on first meet.
Customary
Don't
to
fuck
what?
my father!
I'm sorry, this is awkward. As interesting as you might actually be, these are rarer goods. And I don't know your intentions yet.
Just a handshake.
How about I just give you a wink and we call it a day?
I can live with that.
He winks and he walks alongside you.
Yep. And yeah, I won't say anything unless he begins conversation as we head towards the apothecary.
Rahk, you carry him to the door, and Charlie is about 15 or so feet. He sees you, and he sees Jacob. His eyes train on you for a moment. Then he glances past you as he continues to walk. He sees Thelsa. He remembers her, but she seems different now. And then he sees Mal, this figure that he's never seen before. He looks to you. Were you two called? Were you summoned?
In a form.
Well, he's killing himself. For nothing.
I might have contributed to that.
As I would expect.
By accident, I'll have you know.
I spoke to both of you. I told you. You must help him. Help him make the right decisions. I understand that you cannot control him. I recognize this. He looks immediately to Thelsa. And to you. Aid Ulhime, or he will fail. His way has become His eyes train on Mal for a moment. Mal smiles. Well, who do we have here? You're a precarious fella. You smell kind of familiar. Charlie, his chest puffs out, and you see his left hand clench into a fist. Why is he in your company?
He just showed up. He saw the beacon too.
His eyes affixed to all of you. Is this the company you keep?
I just met him today, minutes ago.
And I'm a little blind at the moment.
Mal pauses for a moment. Yes. Yes, it's there. I've got to know. I've got to know. You have to tell me. Just how did you get out? Who did it? It wasn't these. No. They're not capable. Between the 4 or 5 of them, they have half a brain. There's no way. How did you find your way out of that hourglass? You mean the one that you put me in? When you raided the Cathedral of Feathers with your army. You couldn't kill me on that day, and you can't kill me now. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I can't. But I can put you back. You can try. You see both hands clench up. The left arm comes up almost as if he is holding onto a shield, but nothing's there. The right hand pulls to the side like he's preparing to draw a blade. Mal looks to him. I'm entirely unarmed, and in a different plane of existence. That was yesterday, and today is a different me. I'm just here trying to make sure that my boy can make it to the next day. And, well, someone rang the dinner bell, and I had to see what that was about. I'm guessing that's why you're here too. I was directly summoned. You have no place here. You offer nothing but death, pestilence, trickery. Why don't you let them decide that? After all, I am their company. Thelsa, you can see from where you stand that there is a small twinkle in the fist of Charlie Miles. The hilt of a blade appears. The handguard forms. And there's a brief flitting of light. And when the hand falls, that light hits the dirt and immediately chars it. You saw no blade. How shall you have me then? Shall I stay here in the company of the one that imprisoned me, killing my brothers and sisters and my believers? He looks to the 3 of you, even though you can't see him. He still looks to you.
I'm gonna look towards at the door and say, I think it might be time that you leave.
I just want to look. Can I just
Later.
look?
Later.
Well, you know, You're right. I probably should go. I'm clearly not wanted here. And that's fine. That's fine. I see the thanks that I get for returning you to a breathing state. But you see, I have this itch, and the apothecary has this powder that I need. And he just sideways steps between all of you. He grabs the door handle, and he walks in. Is there an apothecary in? I seem to have a rash. Helm looks at you. Charlie glances at you. Nobody says anything. Ronald, your door opens, A man stands there. He's declaring that he has a rash and he needs an ointment or a powder. When he looks to you, well, you're not the apothecary.
And you're not the one I called.
Pull your mic down.
What are you? You're not the one I called.
You called everyone. You didn't just call someone, you called everyone. I heard. And well, when you leak out power like that, well, people just listen. See that the boy seems to be doing well. Cort, give me a fortitude save.
Thelsa would take a few steps towards Helm and say, how do we get rid of him?
Is a 33 okay?
He must be banished permanently.
He has a soul ore somewhere. I presume it's on another plane. I know it's not in Cauldron.
We could try sticking this up his ass in the meantime, and he'll just kind of lift Alakast.
You've activated the Owl Blade.
The
You
what?
should not have that. You do not know of the powers that you wield. You do not know what's in your hands.
Can it stop Napthatorin?
It can stop anything that breathes.
Is Napthatorin still facing inwards? Into the building? I don't know if
Yes.
he actually fully went in.
Yeah, he's in. He's actually standing in the door.
I'm gonna offer for Rahk to give me Jakob and hand him the scythe stabby thing and just nudge towards or nod my head toward Napthatorin.
I'll set Jacob down.
As he starts to set him down, Helm says, I cannot interfere. This is not. This vessel will die.
The vessel was already dead.
Guys.
This
Let's
vessel points to the body. This vessel will die.
guys.
How do we defeat him?
Camera pans
Napthatorin.
back as you're talking. Cort. You hear a voice, one that you're not familiar with. It sort of sounds like Jared. Jared Skellering. And that's a voice you haven't heard in a long time. There's a bit more of a draw to it. You can't quite figure out why, but it feels very old country. You remember your parents sort of talking like this. Or maybe your grandparents, you're not sure. But when he speaks, there is some hang on the words. Sounds like Jared. You muscle through and you open your eyes. Your fortitude save allows you to do just that, and it takes you a moment to focus. But as your eyes train on this figure, this mouse Skellering, it's not Jared. It's not. Doesn't even look like a knight. Doesn't look like a guardsman. But he's tall. He's gaunt. His long, liquid-like black hair pours down his shoulders, over his ears, and his goatee and mustache seems to almost be painted on. There's something odd about him. His skin's so frail and pale. He looks malnourished. Give me a memory save. That's wisdom. You want to re-roll it at all? Are you hoping that's going to be enough? That's a 50-50 there, literally. You're muted for the record.
I might need it as a save. That stops me from dying if I fuck up a fortitude, which is the only thing holding me back from doing it. So yeah, I won't re-roll it. I'll save my my roll for now.
Cordy does look like Jared. He looks familiar, but it's not. Jared was stockier in build, also not as tall. He had a stronger jaw. He had softer features. He looked alive. This person looks like a corpse. A manufactured corpse. But when he turns and you see his hair pan, as you hear the footfall from the opposite room, his head disappears into this black flood of his long mane. And when he turns back, you see it whip back over his shoulders. And the memory hits you. This is the man that killed your family, that set your town on fire, that removed your master's arm, left him for dead. You have no doubt in your mind that this is the one and the same. Your memory flits back to this monster, this creature from another place. Who could kill so many people so swiftly? And as you saw your master charge in, glancing over your shoulder, his hair whipped over his shoulder, and in a single action, your trained knight of a master fell, and you thought he died. And you walked on and on and on until you found yourself in the company of the current crew. But he now peers down at you. He has no idea who you are. You can see that Ulhime is talking to him. He tells him that he's called everyone. He's let everybody know. And this is where we'll call tonight's session.
I throw the fucking blood skin at him. Just go, yeah. Just kidding, that's not.
Throw my holy water at him.
Just stab him with the straw.
I put my hand in my stomach goo and I chuck it at him.
I throw Cort.
We gotta find a soul lore and just stab it with the thingy.
Illegal cliffhanger. Got it. I hit him with that illegal cliffhanger tonight. Sorry, guys.
No, that's when you say, all right, one more couple of words. And then I'm cutting it off.
Oh.
I wonder what would happen if you ended up like spraying him in the eyes with Jacob's magically infused blood.
So,
Not much.
our post-show is going to consist of how you guys are feeling about the current events. What do you feel about Mal, Navatoran, encountering Charlie, aka Helm?
Oh, well, finding out that Charlie is a fallen angel, that's gonna suck.
Well, we already kind of knew.
We did?
Yeah, he came over to the bathhouse and was like, I'm Helm. He's fucking up.
Well, yeah, he came by, saying, yeah, I'm Helm, but we didn't know why Charlie was a suitable vessel. Now we know Charlie is a fallen angel. That's why he hangs with Sasha.
Do we know that? I feel like that's not what we were getting at here.
I didn't infer that, but apparently you did, which is important.
Well, let's look over what Mal said. Where's the fallen angel? Who clipped the wings?
Yeah, because he felt a godly presence around, and that turned out to be Helm. Not necessarily that there was...
I'm not quite feeling that.
There might be more to it. Might be some more to it. Remember, he was asking about what angel was here, who clipped the wings.
The only angel that I know was here was Nadrama, who
right.
was then transferred into Ulhime.
Or into Ulhime, sorry.
Yeah, and let's be honest.
So that could be the fallen angel too.
Navthatorin already knows Ulhime.
Yeah, but he didn't know it was Nadrama.
I mean, he might be tricky, and he might know a lot, but he doesn't know everything. It's worth noting, though. I feel like some things might be circling back around. I dropped some key phrases or words that you may have picked up on. I mean, I can't reiterate them. If you feel like you have to know that bad, and it's going to eat you up, you can always watch the VOD, which will go live in 24 hours on YouTube and in about an hour on Twitch. Today's episode will be called Borrowed Time. For obvious reasons.
Brought to you
Red?
by Corsair Gaming.
Red, what's your opinion on having clockwork body?
If you guys upgrade me and don't give me a grappling hook, I'm going to be sorely upset with you.
You can just seek them yourself for a grappling hook. We're just turning your guts into a bellows.
All I need is you attach a hook to the bellows, and then I can shoot it out, and that way I can poon them.
You literally just
no.
want to be Urgot.
Hey, for what it's worth,
Literally
Red,
Urgot.
for what it's worth, Red, keep in mind, I'm the one that was angling to make you a Warforged.
Look, I'm okay with that. Just give me the grappling hook.
I mean, it can be progressive. You know, chop off one limb, have it replaced, chop off another, have it replaced, until all he is a heart and a brain inside of a metal body.
Small, lighthearted boy. They're like, oh, hey, like we just had to like seal this up with some mechanical stuff. He'll be fine. And then he wakes up. He's like, stronger than man, stronger than machine. I am an idea. I'm like, bro, like that didn't happen. Like you weren't. It wasn't that bad. They just patched you up. You're good.
Like I said, I want to grab.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
But we don't. But we don't want to spend a lot of money.
He is the $34 man.
Exactly.
What did you do to him?
34 copper man.
We put about 85 chicken McNuggets in his gut, and that's what we're calling his organs now.
Yep.
Downside is we can only afford honey dipping sauce.
He's more akin to a piñata than an actual functioning human, though.
Still more useful than he was before somehow.
Goopy nugs. Fucking, oh, that's great. I love that.
Lord, y'all silly. Y'all silly. Yeah, so there was, like I said, there were some reveals tonight. I'm overall fairly happy the way the session went. I think quarantine brain is kind of eating people up. I know that half of you guys are still working though. At least half of you.
I'm pretty sure it's everyone in here.
Everyone that works is still working.
Yeah,
Sniper's not.
me.
Except for, well, he still drives around every day in his van. It's just real hard because there's nobody at parks anymore.
It's just not working its job.
That's a hobby, not an occupation.
It's been a problem ever since they closed the schools, okay?
You know what? I don't really think it's going to be that bad, though, because the way that my fucking neighbors are living, you just got to drive into any apartment complex, and they're just congregating by the dozens.
There are people, like, I've lived in this neighborhood for like 6-7 years almost. I've never seen this many people outside the neighborhood.
Right?
There are people, like, playing on the lawn, like, taking out their kids, like...
It's still winter here, so nobody's outside.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's 90 degrees outside here, so there's...
It's, like, we literally got 3 inches of snow the other day.
Dude,
yesterday.
I was driving down the road. I saw 2 dudes with just like fucking shorty shorts on and like long white socks and some hand-me-down sneakers push mowing a 20-foot yard. 2 guys. They had 2 push mowers. Like, how fucking bored are you? They're like, you know what? We're gonna hit this real quick. Do a 6 minute whole swoop. This whole yard will be done.
See what
would have been better.
Dude, come
if
on,
it was 2 people on one mower.
We're running a hustle right now, man.
Yeah, I think they gotta be. There's probably good money in it, but then again, I think anybody at this point could treat their own fucking yard.
It was actually just competition, and he hired 2 people from other companies and to see which one did the better job.
Look, times are tough,
That's the real
but grass is still growing, okay? You both want the work. I'm willing to pay, but I want to see who gets the fastest, cleanest swoops. Back and forth. Let's go.
Whoever gets it.
You get the left side, you get the right side.
This is the grass cutting
Fucking go.
scrims of 2020. And go!
I want to see this shit checkerboarded. All right.
I wish we had
Still
grass.
a better balanced team than Riot. Whoa, got him.
And you have to look good doing it.
Lord. Okay.
I want some hobo mowing my grass.
But listen, okay, that fucking guy will work harder than just about anyone else, all right? Don't dog
Man,
on...
he's been trying to balance the whole game for
on
like
Hobo
10 years
Shane.
now. I think he's doing a good job.
I don't judge. They just don't live around here, so I don't have that much knowledge of them. It's too cold up here for them to survive.
Ooh, people.
Quite literally.
Homeless people, yeah.
Oh.
If they live outside shelters, they usually freeze.
That checks out.
Didn't you guys
That's-
have one
that's
day that was
Canada.
like, it was recorded that like one part of Canada was like as cold as Mars or some shit like that?
I
fuck?
don't know. But here
Yeah.
in Canada, we've gotten to like
They,
minus 60 Fahrenheit.
They had like an Arctic chill like shoot through a certain part of Canada, and it was like a big deal in the U.S. They're like, yeah, the chill factor is so low
It
that
wouldn't
it's
surprise me.
equivalent to the surface of Mars. I was like, what the fuck?
How cold is Mars, though?
I don't know. Cold enough to where they want to fucking make a comparison to some whack ass beta planet.
Goddamn Canada.
It's only around minus 80 Fahrenheit, so it's very likely, since here
bizarre.
in northern Ontario it's gotten to minus 60 Fahrenheit. So it would not surprise me.
Scary. Well, I think this is probably the best place we can utilize our stop, and we'll talk at y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be another game day. I'm still pushing to put Darkest Dungeon behind us. We just wrapped up all of the base game bosses, short of the actual Darkest Dungeon itself. Afterwards, I will be tackling XCOM 1 Long War, so that's going to be interesting, to say the least. And also, I've got Trials of Mana, so I'm going to be checking that game out. I'm pretty excited for it. Probably some other things in between. Friday is the Patreon 12-hour stream, so you guys can hang out there. We'll do some group games, and we'll just jackass around like we always do. Anything and everything in between. Saturday, there will not be an episode of Roll For It's the Silence of Shadows. Yeah, that's what it is.
Silence of Shadows, yeah.
Because Mathis is gone. Mathis is he's out doing some things. But Saturday night, we are doing movie night. It's the patron movie night. You can hop in at the $5 level. You guys can get into a movie night. We will be watching
John Wick.
No. This month we are watching Three Christs with Peter Dinklage and Richard Gere, and we are also watching Peanut Butter Falcon, one of the most recent films by what's his name? Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm pretty excited about it. And I've already actually picked next month's movies, but I'll announce those after Saturday.
All powered by Corsair Gaming.
It's actually not, believe it or not, but I like what you're doing here. So check it out. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming out. I'll talk to everybody later. I'll see you in the Discord. Make sure you pop in there and come shoot the breeze. Hang out with us there.